Shown 5 possible answers to the questions I'll be asking. Any member of a team may buzz in an answer, but if incorrect, then the other team will have the opportunity to answer that very same question. The team with the most points at the end of 3 rounds will compete and will win, of course. They will also compete in the right to enter Diamond Hit in our 4th and final round. Now, questions in round number 1 are going to be worth 10 points each. Each round will end when you hear this sound, contestants. Okay, that means a round is all over. So, Jane, we're all ready. Help us with round 1.
All right, Bob. The first category today is the Far East, and the choices are Vietnam, Japan, Laos, Thailand, and China.
Category and possible answers. Remember, every question is worth 10 points in the first round. I can only accept the answer from the first reaction that buzzes in. If you are ready, hands in your buzzer.
Profiler comes back to work at tremendous cost to himself. He's aware of what it's going to take to solve these 2 murders of these 2 murdered families. His family has some idea what it's going to take, and he seems like a character with a lot to lose. And in doing so, he seems damaged, and he plays it damaged. And that's an actor that's commendable. You know, you play this thing.
He gets great help from Dennis.
Yeah.
And I'm always so wildly impressed with that man's work coming as a cop.
He never regained consciousness. Did you hear the tape?
Yeah. Listen, Bauman just broke the code that Lecter used in the Tatler personal ad. It was the state of Maryland statutes. You need to know what it said right now.
What?
Listen to me. Everything is okay. I've taken care of it.
What is it, Jay?
Bastard gave me your home address. It said Graham Home, 3860 DeSoto Highway, Captiva, Florida. Save yourself, kill them all.
Get you plane.
Will!
Coming into it, and I've heard he's kind of sometimes said that well, it's a much easier job than a cop, obviously, but he's had some performances that are incredible. I loved him in Midnight Run. Stanley, have a fucking sandwich.
Yeah.
I'll fucking put this pen in your mouth. But in this one, he plays the cop. He's brilliant at it. But there was just this little bit of tenderness about, like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have to be. But this guy's bad, and you're the best. And it's, you know, and that's, but they play that so well. And they even have a scene at one point where he kind of says, like, you brought me into this, and you don't. Yeah, Will says, he says, no, we're gonna wait 2 weeks. We got a crew ready, and he goes, no, you brought me in on this, and they go back, and it's very caring moment where he's trying to take care of him, but he also knows, and now he knows he brought him back in, and now he's neck deep, and it's like, uh-oh. Even in the end, when they're charging the house, he's like, wait for backup, wait for SWAT. And
so
it didn't, because that woman was about to get killed. And it was Joan
Allen.
Allen.
All right, so we're getting ahead of ourselves. Basically, Will Graham turns out to be the guy that we hope and expect him to be. He basically has this. He starts connecting the dots on this fairly quick with help from Lecter.
And they do that so well too, with him going through the crime scene. He's got his file and he's got his tape recorder, and he's kind of like, why did you do that? How did you know that? Where did you go here? Why did you do this? How did you know they had a dog? And it was really well done, because there's so many kind of moments in movies where you have to think out loud, but this really worked. And that's how we get to it was a really great little sequence too, where he's like, you wanted them to see, you had to touch them, you took the glove off, you wanted it. He goes, just the fingertips and toes and the eyeballs, because he knows, and he wants his guy to do it, because his guy is the best. And
so let's talk about that moment real quick, right? The local police department had run the crime scene and actually done a fingerprint analysis. He wants his guys to do it because they, as you say, are the best and prove to be the best, because they find prints made with talcum powder that the local office couldn't find. But You know the scene I'm talking about when the local police chief is briefing him and he says, listen, I don't want to use the term tooth fairy in the press, which, by the way, is one of those subtleties that's actually brilliant. You don't want to use a nickname. You don't want to give someone a nickname, and you don't want what a nickname could represent or what it could trigger. So you go around them. You don't use them, right? And they put that in the movie. But what's funny about it to me is there's a scene right after that where Bennings from The Thing is explaining the teeth, right? Like, this is why there's the imprint and the incisors, this is what his teeth look like. And then after that meeting, they approach the FBI guys in the back, Farina and Graham, and they go, well, here's what we have. We don't, like, I know how to find a guy who's fencing and why he's fencing. We don't have shit on this guy. And they end up putting their fingerprint guy, their specialist, on the speakerphone, and he tells them what they've got. But the vibe between Farina and these local police guys, there's so much animosity. And I'm wondering if a scene might have been cut where they were like dismissed as the FBI, like, we got it, because doesn't Farina's character feel like I told you so in that moment? You know the moment I'm talking about?
FBI.
Let me put you on speakerphone.
Who am I talking to?
Jimmy, it's Jack Crawford. You got Will Graham here, too.
I got a partial print with a tinted arch. It's probably a thumb. And the fragment of a palm off the nail of Mrs. Leeds' left big toe. Thumbprint came off the oldest kid's left eye. It stood out against an 8-ball hemorrhage from the gunshot wound.
Can we make an identification off of it?
Maybe, if he's ever been printed, and he's in my index. I want to work these up in my own darkroom. I'll fax the prints down to you this afternoon.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And he's like, we figured it out, and you guys suck at your job, basically, is kind of the messaging there. And I'm like, wait, where'd this come from? And I'm wondering if the scene might have been cut.
Yeah, I'd almost have to go back and look at it again with that in mind, because
Hi, this is Bill Daly. Please help me find a cure for NMOSD, and with it possibly cancer. Visit the Guthrie Jackson Foundation website and donate today.